The best superhero universe right now does not feature a Batman or a Spider-Man. It does not bear the logo DC or Marvel. This, my friends, is the boundless expanse of the Massiverse. From the mind of Higgins comes a tokusatsu-inspired superhero universe. Launched in 2020, it has expanded to 9 different series, 2 one-shots, an animated short, and a dramatized podcast. It all started with Radiant Black, the so-called superhero comic for the millennial, from Higgins and Marcelo Costa. The story follows a struggling writer named Nathan who is in deep debt. He finds what is to be known as a Radiant on a train track with his friend Marshall, allowing him to transform into the hero Radiant Black. This book put characters above everything, always pushing them into conflicts and making them face every type of challenge possible. And it took risks, very extreme risks. After 4 issues of getting to know Nathan, Higgins put him in a coma and handed the mantle to Marshall. Nathan was a flawed character, but Marshall was something else. He was more or less a loser, who worked at a video store and spent his free time hanging out at the bar or going to a high school basketball game just because he had beef with a player. But in the role of Radiant Black, Marshall is a dynamo, much more quippy, and he knows how to have fun with it. Not just always looking to save people, but also profiting by securing and fighting for copyright and licensing. This universe unfolds further as other Radiants emerge, each with their own distinctive powers. There was Radiant Red, who put Nathan in a coma and has the power to form constructs. Radiant Yellow peers into multiple timelines, and Radiant Pink can teleport. There was a space to explore all of them. Radiant Red was the first, receiving her own miniseries, where it was revealed that she was also a character in debt, but not due to herself but due to her fiancé. This series also introduced the character Shift, who would cause trouble all over the Massiverse. She reluctantly joins forces with Shift in a bid to erase her debt, but her conscience eventually prevails, and at the end she turns herself in. Radiant Pink, in her own miniseries, delves into the psychological toll of streaming. Radiant Yellow got an issue that featured 4 separate points in time at the same time, and even had an infinity issue so it could be read as one long page. Radiant Black introduces a realm called Existence, where the Radiants can communicate with robots that would essentially determine their worth and mentally challenge them. Existence would be beautifully explored in the vividly colored blacklight editions. Shift, who I mentioned earlier, becomes an annoying enemy. Technology from the same aliens involved the Radiants has reached Earth, and he has assembled a crew to take this and use it to become villains in their own right, forming all sorts of dangerous and crazy weapons. A personal favorite of mine is the crypto-obsessed Sheer. Then, Supermassive happened, a one-shot that would cross over Radiant Black with Inferno Girl Red and Rogue Sun, heroes who would yet to appear but would soon. This crossover featured many epic moments, including a 4-page spread. The final page teased the introduction of another hero, called Dead Lucky. The next book is my favorite from the Massiverse, Rogue Sun by Ryan Parrott and art by Ebel. The Rogue Sun in Supermassive was actually the father of the one we see in this series. Rogue Sun is a mantle passed down through an amulet that would give the user a suit similar to a knight's. This book is my favorite superhero comic from any company right now. The art is awesome, all the villains have extremely unique designs that work especially well considering the story takes place in New Orleans. It follows Dylan, who takes on the mantle after the death of his father. And he is not a good person. He's a bully. But to become a hero means you need to grow beyond that. His character exudes a raw humanity often overlooked in modern superhero books. He fails, gets angry, sad, and makes terrible decisions, but tries to do good. His tattered relationships add depth to his character. With a dysfunctional family, just one friend, a girlfriend often sidelined, and a father who thrust him into the world of superheroes. Rogue Sun is a compelling and exciting story every issue, a must-read even if one doesn't touch any other Massiverse book. And also, fire swords are just objectively cool. Inferno Girl Red was originally titled Dragon Girl Red, and was launched as a Kickstarter. I did not contribute to it, but I did pick it up later when it was released as a 3-issue mini. And this surprised me. It's probably the most clearly tokusatsu-inspired title. Instead of a real city, it takes place in a utopian city called Apex City, with access to all sorts of sci-fi technology. Character designs are much less grounded in reality, and the suit, activated by shining Inferno Ignite, definitely looks very Power Rangers-esque. But boy, it rocks. Cassia Costa leads the charge as another teenager thrust into a superhero legacy. Her mother is a disgraced journalist for her reports on the previous iteration of the hero, forcing the move and stressing their relationship. But the acquisition of the bracelet bridges this chasm, as Shia has to grapple with a threat coming from within Apex City, while learning to embrace her heroic destiny. The next series is Dead Lucky, which is probably the weakest in my opinion. War veteran Bibi gained the ability to control electricity and see her dead comrade during the war. Now home in a fascist San Francisco, she must use her powers to help save it. Her power set is interesting, but the storytelling is not. None of the characters have much to offer, and even the action isn't all that. But hey, Shift appears. The latest series has a touch of Batman in it. Originally a pitch from Higgins and legendary artist Tim Sale, it evolved into this 10-issue murder mystery co-written with Brian Buccellato and art from Gerardo Borges. An internet persona named No One doxed various corrupt people in power. But then, someone actually started killing them. So No One stepped in as a vigilante and caught the killer, the son of high-ranking policeman Benjamin Kern. But the killings didn't stop. A copycat arose, and so the story continues. The first killer was actually sneakily introduced, and the Shift short stories from an anthology. It's these little details like that that keep readers on their toes. The book does not actually follow No One because his identity is a mystery. Instead, it follows journalist Julia Page, who's covering the story for her newspaper, trying to figure out who is No One, the title of the accompanying podcast that features the voices of Rachel A. Cook and Peyton Oswalt, among others. Her investigation puts her in danger, but no one is always there. The saga unfolds as a tantalizing enigma, revealing new facets with each new twist and turn. Supermassive came back for Supermassive 2 this year, with Dead Lucky joining the cast and featuring an iconic Image character as they searched for the Holy Grail. Going back to Radiant Black, we're entering the biggest storyline yet, the Catalyst War. The aliens who created the Radiants and technology that has reached Earth are here, and they aren't happy. The Radiants must band together in order to stop this invasion. This high-stakes battle also involved a vote, akin to the Jason Todd death vote. This time it is to determine whether Nathan or Marshall would take the mantle permanently. One word sums up this universe: ambition. Higgins and his visionary team have boldly executed so many risks and gimmicks that have paid off big time. They make the universe bigger, more real, and awesome. When a reader turns to the last page, it is in fierce anticipation, not knowing whether there's another special prize awaiting them. The Massiverse is an astounding achievement for independent comics, and I can't wait to see it keep growing.